Hello and welcome to the Family Audio Podcasting Project, Part 2, recording your audio podcast. So, welcome everybody, and I'd like to thank all of our partners in this. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library, and the Canada Council for the Arts. So today what we're going to do is we are going to look at recording our audio podcast. So we're going to use a script that we wrote from Part 1, and we want to record the narration and dialogue in the podcast. We'll use GarageBand, an app that's totally free and included on iPads, and record the individual tracks that can just be adjusted and edited. And we'll look at that more in the next part. So tips for recording. So we want to try to find a room without too much noise. Then you can also add a sound blanket. So that could be literally a blanket, or it could be even a sweater over your head to help reduce echo or noise in the room. Then I also recommend you can record a few takes if you're not sure that you got it. So, if you didn't get it on the first take, you might want to do another one. And then just add another track for this extra take. Have different members of your family or different friends record different characters or voices as well. And remember to have fun. Okay, so let's use GarageBand and explore how that works. So first of all, I do have my script. So this is what I wrote out. So I have the narrator, I have a couple characters, Julie and Frank. For the demonstration, I'm going to record all of them, but you can definitely have different family and friends record the different parts and characters in the script. So here's my script. So it's going to be ready to record. So once we have our script ready to go, what we want to do is actually launch our iPad and GarageBand. So let's go to that. So here's our iPad. So I'm just going to go to the home button here. I'm going to hit the app, the GarageBand. So it's a little guitar key right here. So I'm going to hit that. Okay, and then what we want to do is I'm going to create a whole new song. Right. So these are the recent folders. So I'm going to hit the plus button on the top right. Hit that. And I want to use this audio recorder, which is perfect. So I'm going to hit yes, audio recorder. And this allows us to, you can see right there we have our levels, and this allows us to record clean audio, right? So just with the microphone on the iPad, right? So, and then I can raise this up or down. So if I go up, you can see it's getting a bit louder, and we want to just avoid anything that's in the red zone. Check, 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 right? So it's going to compress and make sure we don't go too loud, but we want to have just a nice level. So usually about 75% of that fader is good in my opinion. So I'll be ready to go. So then from here I can just hit record. But what we want to do two things. So what we need to do is we want to turn off the metronome so we don't hear the click, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need to make it a longer length of music technically so we can record the podcast. So here I have 8 bars, so I'm going to add about 4 more of those so I have enough length to record all the dialogue in my script. Okay, so how does that work? So what we'll do is I'm going to hit the metronome bar up here on the top. So this blue right here, I'm going to click it and that turns it off. So then we'll no longer hear the clicking sound when we record. Next thing what I want to do is I'm going to add some more length here. So on the top right here, I'm going to hit the plus, okay, and I'm going to add bars, right? So I'm going to say, hey, add 8 bars, add 8 bars, add 8 bars. I'm going to add a section each. So again, this is designed for music, but we're going to use it for our podcast, right? So I'm going to have at least 5 sections. It should give me enough time to record all the tracks that I need. Okay, so then from there, I'm ready to record. Right? So I'm just going to hit this top arrow here, and that's going to reset me to the beginning of the recording. Okay, so now I have my script ready, and I'm ready to record. So I'm going to hit this record button right on top there of GarageBand, and I can start recording. So here we go. I'm going to start with my narrator. So I'm going to hit record. It was a bright, sunny summer day. Perfect. So that's the first part, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this track button here. And then what it's going to do is it's going to show me all the tracks, which is really cool. And this is where we can add more tracks. So what I'm going to do is just go back here and let's have a listen to what we recorded. It was a bright, sunny summer day. Perfect. Okay, so that's what we want to have so far. So that's great. So now we're going to move on. We're going to record our characters, Julie and Frank. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just record both of these. We can record these on a separate track. We can record them all at once. So it depends how you want to do it. So I'm going to hit the plus button down here. it's going to add another track. I'm going to say, yes, let's do another recording. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will record all of Julie's lines, and I'll just show you how we can then have those as separate tracks. It was a bright, sunny summer day. Hey, what type of bird was that? Perfect. Okay, so that's our next part. So again, I'm going to hit the track buttons, and then what we'll see is we have our narrator track right up here. It was a bright and sunny summer day. Then we have Julie's voice right here. I know it's just my voice right now, but imagine if there's someone else. So now what we'll do is we're going to record the third track. Okay, so here we go with that. So I'm going to add another track. Okay, and I'm going to hit record. It was a bright, sunny summer day. Hey, what type of bird was that? I'm not sure, but it sure was fast. Okay, and that's how you can see all of a sudden we have now the 3 tracks. So I'm going to go right over to show us those tracks. I'm going to click on here, and you see we have the narrator, we have Julie, and we have Frank. So now once we have these 3 tracks, what we can do too is we can actually select which track we're recording with our finger, and now we can just keep recording these elements in with our script. So watch this. I'm going to add the next line for Julie. So I'm just going to have my cursor right after Frank's end of the line. I'm going to hit record, and I'll record Julie's next line. Sure, but it sure was fast. That must be the new neighbors. They always have their music playing loud in their car. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to go back to the tracks. Right, you can see now we have Julie part 1, we have Julie part 2, and now I'm going to click on Frank's track. I'm going to move this cursor forward. Okay, and I'm ready, because I've touched that, that's engaged now. So I'm recording onto track 3, which is Frank. Okay, so I'm going to hit record. They always have their music playing loud in their car. I wish they would keep it down since it scares all the birds away. Great, so now what we've done is we've recorded Frank's track. So you can see we keep going back and forth. And that's it. We recorded all of our script and our tracks, our 3 characters. Again, if you use different family members or friends, you can have different voices for each character or narrator. Makes it more interesting in the sound spectrum of different voices. So there we go. We have our first 3 characters recorded. So we have the narrator, we have Julie, and we have Frank. And we just keep repeating this until we record everything in our script. And that's how we're going to do it. And the great thing is we can hear back the other elements, and then we can record the new elements in our recording, right? So that's a really simple way to record. Feel free, you can also use headphones, and that works really well to hear and then just record the microphone. You're not getting any kind of feedback that way, right? So that's what we want to do. So for your assignment now, you want to use that fictional audio podcast script, record all the narration and dialogue parts using GarageBand, just like I showed you right now on iPad. And then you can also record any sound effects. So feel free to get sound effects like phone rings or ambient tones like an outdoor beach. And this can all be used for the sound editing that we're going to do in the next portion of this workshop. So you can even record music if you want for the podcast. So if you want to do some of your own original music. And then what we're going to do in the next part, we're going to explore editing sound and adding sound effects and music in the next session. So thanks again for joining me. And I hope to see you again in the next part, and have a great rest of the day.